Okay, y'all. So I'm just gonna pick up where I left off, even though I've been going for like 2 hours. I had something I had to do. But like I was saying on my last live, Iris did an interview with Madame Noir, and she basically was revealing some things that were not said on the TV show. I feel like they were framing things in a certain way after this interview. I feel a certain way, and I kind of fell for it. I can't even lie, I kind of fell for it. You know, that's just how they do though. Like that's how TV shows are. They pick a narrative and they go with it. And this whole thing with Keith and Iris, this interview kind of like gave me a little bit more perspective, and I was already starting to feel this way because the last episode, which I didn't review, I'm going to like give y'all like a little overview on my next review of the last episode. But um he kind of alluded to being distant, and Iris was talking about how it was hard to like talk to Keith and for him to open up. And even with certain things, like let's say the situation with Iris and the secret and her swallowing a quarter, her revealing that as her secret. If Keith had a really big problem with that, or felt like she should have dug deeper for a secret, he probably should have said something in the moment instead of like, you know what I'm saying, just like sitting there and shutting down, because shutting down doesn't help. But I did want to read part of this interview because I feel like it's very eye-opening. So I'm not gonna read the whole thing. I'm gonna actually leave the link down below if y'all want to read the whole thing, but I'm gonna read what I think is the most important. Okay, so she said, being able to open up in front of cameras is difficult. Parts of my marriage, I would like to be allowed to remain private and behind closed doors. I like to have off-camera talks with Keith. I don't feel comfortable licking, blowing, kissing parts of the body like with the dice game. And she didn't feel like those activities were appropriate on camera for all viewers, including her family members and students that are watching. Um, let's see. I want to get to the part where okay. Um, to viewers, he seemingly called her uh, immature because of her discomfort about intimate situations, her choice to make her secret reveal about a quarter as a kid, and her decision not to fully go through with the dice game the pair played. However, she says the only reason why she behaved in such a way was because she and Keith actually agreed not to go into depth too much about that on camera since they both work with kids. And you know what? I was like, you know, that makes plenty of sense. Like, because I don't think Iris is dense. I think she does understand, like, you know, she's going to have to open up in certain ways. And I was hoping that, like, behind the scenes, she was opening up. But the fact that that they made, like, a pact that they weren't going to talk about certain things on camera, that they weren't going to discuss certain things on camera, and you know Iris was basically following through on that in so many ways. I think that he kind of like was, you know, making her look bad. He was kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, he was reneging on what they said they were going to do, because he was acting as if she was like so immature when they actually just made a pact and decided they weren't going to talk about things like that on camera. And she went on to say, this is something that Keith and I both agreed we would not do or talk about on camera because we both work with kids and did not want them influenced by our actions on TV. It was upsetting to see Keith had an issue with this when we both discussed that we wouldn't talk about certain things on camera. I was surprised by continued comments referring to me as an immature person because I wanted to keep some things private. Iris believes she tried to do her best to be a good wife for Keith, and she attempted to let down her guard when it comes to facing her intimacy issues. y'all, I just don't want this to get demonetized, so I'm avoiding certain words. Um, however, she said she hasn't. However, she said he hasn't helped her at all to feel like she's ready to take that next step with him because he hasn't been vulnerable with her. My role is to show Keith I am open and willing to experience intimacy with him, to break down walls and build up our intimacy. Keith's responsibility is to show me he is vulnerable and open and he actually likes or cares for me. Simple words of affirmation, romancing me, or even just doing something nice for me will help walk me through this. Something as simple as cooking or cuddling for me, cooking for me or cuddling in the bed at night. That's what I need. I need to know that he actually has feelings for me and wants this to work. Unfortunately, she said the efforts that she made, including the edible body paint, haven't gone far. The edible paint exercise was a huge step for us and certainly brought me closer to Keith. But the disappointment at the end of that night was either Keith went out with his friends or didn't talk to me once we got in the bed. He doesn't open up to me about his thoughts or feelings. He has never done anything romantic for me or even voiced his feelings to make me feel warm and comfortable. Despite what it may sound like in the interview, Iris didn't bash Keith. She did, however, admit that he's not making her feel like he wants to truly be intimate with her anytime soon. I can't break down these walls when Keith is building them back up. It's challenging to open up to someone who hasn't opened up to you, nor can be vulnerable with someone who has not been vulnerable to me. I found it so difficult to grow when he hasn't helped me to do that. I want to be more vulnerable with him, but it's hard when it feels like I'm doing all the work by myself. For the record, Keith has said on the show that uh, he isn't sure if Iris makes him happy and that he doesn't know if he wants to be the one to take her virginity. He told his friend and confessional cameras. Um, so basically, the part that stuck out to me, because, Keith has been framed as this, patient guy waiting on Iris, this long suffering husband. He's been putting in all this time and effort with Iris, and they seem to be taking steps forward to be knocked back. And it's, mainly been placed on Iris. And I can admit, I've been one of those people that's been placing all the blame on Iris, even though I did kind of give her a little leniency because she's a virgin, right? But to hear that she did make this huge effort by, doing the game that stepped totally out of her comfort, out of her comfort zone, even after they agreed that they weren't going to do certain things on camera because they didn't want family and students to see and be influenced or whatever. So to hear that after she took that major step, that he went out with his friends or they went to the room and he didn't talk to her or open up with her, it's like, okay, this is very one-sided, and I really wish that this was shown on the show. I'm glad she did this interview because she was getting a bad edit. Like, she was getting a terrible edit because in a way, Keith is doing a lot of the same things Matt is doing. Like, you going out instead of staying home and talking with your wife and opening up and making an effort. And I'm not saying that Keith is all on him, but he needs to make an effort too. He can't just shut down. He has to open up and tell her certain things that she's doing that may not be helping the situation, and maybe give her some tips and tricks on, you know, what she can do better. And the same with her, but it takes him having to open up. And the fact that he be leaving and stuff. And then what threw me off about the last episode from last week is the fact that, Matt was doing all this talking. Don't let me get started on Matt because I'll go off on a tangent. But Matt was doing all this talking about how, it's so difficult because he's used to being a bachelor and it's hard for him to open up and this is all so hard. It's, in a way, Keith was kind of like agreeing and was just saying like, I don't always feel like talking. And that is what really stuck out to me from the last episode. I wrote it down in my notes, but like I didn't do the review from last week. But I was gonna say, wait a minute. You have to really be trying to open up as well. You can't be clamming up, because we can't be sitting here and poking and prodding at Iris and trying to push her out of her comfort zone, and you're sitting comfortably in yours. Ain't nobody burst your bubble. That's not fair. And so when I saw this interview, this just happened to pop up. Maybe because, obviously I review the show, and I tend to look at things about Married at First Sight. When I saw this review, I was like, wow, this is some perspective that was definitely needed. And it definitely gave me a totally different view of Iris and her situation and what she's been dealing with Keith, because they have not been giving us like this much, insight on what Keith has been doing, because I feel like that, like I said, they have a narrative that they want for this show. And I feel sorry for Iris that she's getting this bad edit, and everybody's, viewing her that way. And a lot of people on my last review was even telling me, Keith ain't been making an effort. And it really, like, I really had to sit there and think about it. And I'm like, Keith really hasn't been making an effort. And Iris even mentioned in the interview that he's never done anything romantic for her. Like, even when you look at their anniversary gifts, he gave her, a gold heart necklace, which is cute, but Iris actually put a lot of thought and effort, and uh you had to get to know Keith to know that he would love to have, vinyl albums, because you get me something like that, it don't do nothing for me. But obviously she took the time to get to know him, and found out what his interests were, and she bought him a very thoughtful gift. And that's romantic at the end of the day, when you actually put thought into a gift. Keith didn't put much thought into that gift. That's a very generic. I can't tell y'all how many times I've received a heart necklace. Like, I feel like that's the default gift that men get for women. Um, so, when you look back on things like that, um, I feel like Keith has checked out. He's shut down. And that is not helping anything. Like, I know you might be frustrated with Iris, but you do need to make an effort. Like, and also when you compare Keith to Greg, um, you need to read that article. Okay, as soon as I post this live, like once this live is like, kind of up for rerun or whatever, I will leave the link down below. And let me see what you said. Sis, I was looking forward to your review from last week. I know, y'all. So for those who don't know, my grandmother was sick last week, and she had pneumonia. And so I was just at the hospital with her, and, thank God she's, doing better. But I would appreciate it if everybody would still pray for her, because she's still, recovering, and, you know, but that's where I was last week. I'm gonna try to, if I can, I'm gonna record the video, this review tomorrow, and I'll include what I had to say about last week's episode. Honestly, I only had a couple of things to say, so I'll just throw that in, and I'm gonna review tonight's episode. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know what happened, but I did want to jump on here and talk about this article, because, Iris got a bad edit, y'all. And I feel bad for judging Iris, because I can relate to Iris so much, y'all. I can. And I really loved her when she first came on the show. And so, I just hate the fact that I was judging her, without all the facts. Okay, I'll have that article for y'all in the comments once I post this video. And thank you for praying for my grandmother, you guys. Whoever, thank you for praying for her. She's my rock. And it's hard to see her, it's hard to see her have pneumonia and be down like that. But, I'm believing God that he's going to, completely heal her. But, yeah, guys, I'm going to leave this article. It's on Madame Noir. Really, I think if you just want to go ahead and type it in now, it's Madame Noir, and just type in MAFS Iris, and I'm sure it'll pop up. But yeah, it was a very eye-opening, very eye-opening interview. And it's just like Keith could have done more. You know, when you look back on it, we're focused on Iris, but Keith could have done more. She made him sound pretty bad. And that's the other thing. She didn't necessarily bash him. And that's another reason why I respect Iris, because she did not bash him. Like, she just told the truth. He didn't romance her. He didn't, he didn't do those things on camera, at least. And from her mouth, she said he didn't do those things. So I'm gonna take her word for it. You didn't see Iris being romantic. Oh, what I was gonna say before, when you look at the other couples and what they've done, minus Matt and Amber, they did do a little bit more romantic things. Like, look at what Greg did for their anniversary. He had a whole room with rose petals, candles, romantic, turned up, turn up the knob of romance. And then something else that I consider romantic, for her birthday, he got all her family together and did something that she loved, playing golf. That's something that she loved to do. And it was a surprise, and I feel like that's romantic, to get all her family together. And you know that took a lot to pull that together, and you could tell he came up with that in advance. Even with Jamie, for their anniversary, he took them back to where they got married. And they walked down the aisle and basically reenacted. Even though their relationship is very volatile and I don't think they should stay together, that was romantic. you know what has Keith done that could be considered romantic? And if leave it in the comments. If you can tell me one thing that Keith has done that was truly romantic, leave it in the comments, cuz I really can't think of anything. This whole experience, what has Keith truly done that's been romantic? And I do feel like if he were to make more of an effort, um you know set out a romantic dinner every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Bring home some roses. Compliment on her how she looks that day. Take her out. I mean, I know he was okay. We He has taken her out on like surprise little excursion or trip, but it wasn't necessarily romantic. You know what I'm saying, y'all? Y'all feel what I'm saying? It's just like when it's pointed out, you can see it so clearly. Just the 1 month anniversary horseback riding and a picnic. Okay, I'm just gonna give that to him and say that's one romantic thing that he's done. But in the scheme of things, I really feel like he could have done more. Nothing, but he has been grieving. His grandmother died a week after their honeymoon. That's true too. That's true too. But if you're like wanting so much from Iris, what I'm saying, um I don't know. If you're wanting Iris to do so much, I still feel like you have to put in like that same amount of effort, if not more. And y'all, if y'all in here, go ahead and like this video. Give me a couple of likes, you guys, because I always forget to tell people to do that when I do a live. Keith and Iris have a horrible edit. Yeah, I really do think their edit was just really bad. I think the edit was really bad, and especially it was more in favor of Keith, and it didn't do Iris any favors. And I just feel like I've been saying, though, in every review, I always say Iris is a good woman. And I still feel that way. I still feel like Iris is a good woman. And I don't feel like Keith is a bad guy. I just feel like he could be putting in more effort too. Like, you can't expect Iris to lay everything out on the table. Like, really, like, that is like some really deep digging she has to do. It's some really hard work she has to put in. And Keith should have to put in equally as much work. That's how I feel about it. His look and kiss behind her neck showed us the love he has for her. I hope so. I hope it works. I get that Iris is annoying. Don't understand why Keith is so passive. Iris keeps asking. if her virginity is still an issue, but he won't say why. Wait, well, let me read that again. Iris keep asking. He still won't say why. I'm telling y'all, read the interview. I wish I had it already copied and pasted so I could just leave it here. But once I post this video, I will definitely leave the link so y'all can read it. It's eye-opening, and I feel like I said, Iris got a bad edit, and I feel like she didn't deserve all this scrutiny that she got. She really didn't. And like I said, Iris did not bash him one time. Iris didn't bash him. She just gave her side of the story. She told facts. And the sad part is, I don't want to think this. I want to have high hopes for Keith and Iris because I still want them to work it out regardless of what happened. But it just seemed like they ain't together. It just seemed like they didn't work out, y'all. I don't want to say it. I don't. But it just seems like they didn't work out. Just some about that interview just made it seem like it was final. She didn't bash him, and she didn't say anything, you know, in a bitter or negative light. But oh no, I'm just looking at this picture of them, and I'm just like, oh, I want them to be together. I understood more why she didn't want to show certain things on TV. I got that too. But you know what I have to say about that? When you go on TV, you know what it is. How many seasons? We're on the 8th season, 9th season of this show. Which one? I can't remember. You know what it is to go on this TV show. You knew your virginity was going to be a topic of discussion. So if you go on TV, that's why I would never go on here, y'all. I would never go on Married at First Sight because I don't want my business in the street. I don't want my business out there for people to be able to like dissect and talk about. I could never do a show like this. So when you go on a show like this, you got to understand, like, your business going to be out there. It's TV. It's reality TV, and where you're supposed to be showing your life. What is your take about recent pictures of Iris with straight hair and thicker body? Girl, I ain't seen these pictures. I haven't seen no recent pictures of Iris with straight hair. You gonna have to tag me in something. Do you have me on Instagram? Hold on. Let me see. I need to know where I can find these pictures. Cause what? So, yeah, that's how I feel about this situation. I try to be fair with my reviews. I try to give both sides. I try to not to be biased. Cause, you know, but you know, it's still a review. So I have an opinion about things. But with Keith and Iris, they're one of those couples that I've been rooting for since the beginning. Like, I want them to work. I still to this day feel in my heart that I want them to work. I hope on decision day they both say they want to stay together. Like, that's just how I feel about it. Them and Deanna and Greg. The other two, I don't feel like they should be together. I feel like Amber should go find a man. Shoot, I think she should be with that best friend, to be honest. If he's not married or, you know, already taken, I think she should be with that best friend because he has her best interests. That's what it seemed like. And yeah, Jamie and Elizabeth need some work on themselves. It's a picture of her with the other ladies and Dr. Viviana. Iris has a long weave and curves. At least a girl, you saw her cup size. Okay, yeah, send it to me on Instagram. This was a fair assessment. Keith could have stepped up more with Iris. Yeah, because I feel like I've went in enough on Iris. I feel like we all have. I feel like she's gotten enough from us, you know, and that had to be hard to be a virgin and be on TV. Can you imagine being a virgin on TV and talking about intimacy and opening up? And that's got to be difficult, you know, especially for someone who's, you know, Iris is on the classy side of things. She doesn't seem like the type that would normally want to share that worldwide. But like I said, you on TV, so I you know, holding back and, you know, not wanting to put certain things out there, y'all shouldn't have came on this show. Y'all shouldn't have came on this show. If you're trying to hold back and y'all made a pact not to put certain things out there because you have students, you shouldn't have came on this show. That's how I feel about it. I mean, even though I've enjoyed watching them and, you know, I've grown to love them as a couple, like I want them to be together, but, you know, if you ain't gonna put it all out there, what's the point of coming out here? Because then certain things like this is gonna happen. We gonna get a bad view of you. We're gonna think like, Iris, you couldn't tell no better secret than that. And honestly, even with that, there are certain things that are secrets that you can tell that is not going to rock everybody's world. It's not going to rock your world to tell it. Like, I was thinking about it. I was like, what is something about me that nobody knows? That's, you know, it's sometimes secrets are just something you have never told anybody, but it's not something I'm just going to take to my grave. You know what I'm saying? Where did you send it to me? On IG? But, what was I saying? Yeah, I lose my train of thought so easily. I was rooting for them too. Not sure if they made it. I hope they did. But what was I saying? Oh, I was just saying, like, okay, so with a secret, it's just something that somebody else doesn't know, right? So for me, I was thinking about, okay, what's something that nobody knows? Um, I think the editing really skewed our perception of her. It did. They never showed their outings and discussions outside of virginity. They were framing this to make Iris the one to dislike. I don't want to say the one to hate, because I don't think nobody truly hates Iris. It's just we were frustrated with the situation. But like I was saying, like, okay, something about me that I've never told anybody. Um, there was one point in my life where I like cried every single day for like a whole month. I cried every single day. And it was like I hid it from I had roommates at the time, and I hid it from my roommates. Nobody knew. It was just like, you know, I was just really like feeling depressed at the time. Like my dad had died. My and this was like a while after my dad died, but my dad died and I went through this bad breakup or whatever, and I was just literally like sobbing myself to sleep every single night, and nobody knew it. That was a secret. You know, that something like that, that's like, you know, it's not going to shake everybody's world, but it could give you like a better understanding of who a person is, you know. And just like, I don't know, it's just certain things you can say that is not a world shaking secret. Like, whoa, let's shake the table. You know what I'm saying? You could have told anything. Okay, I'm gonna look on my Instagram after I get done with this live, girl. I gotta see what you talking about. Iris thick, girl, cause Iris is slimmy. But yeah. So is there anything else y'all want to add before I go? Because that's pretty much all I had to say. I wanted to read y'all that article. Once I post this video, for those who came in late, you'll be able to see the beginning. And I read part of the article, but you can read the whole thing. I'll leave the link to it. A lot of women in my Facebook group saw the picture and said she's thicker because of birth control. I was on birth control? What that mean? Her secret was not vulnerable. That's it. That's it. The secret wasn't vulnerable enough. It wasn't, it didn't give you insight on who Iris was as a child. Like, we all did stupid things as a child. I could tell you 10 stupid things I did as a kid, but what does that have to do with who I am today? You know, like some things could tell you more about who I am today. Like something like vulnerable about your childhood, but something surface like I swallowed a quarter. Girl, Did Keith share a secret? That's the other thing. How come Keith didn't have to share nothing? I feel like a lot of things we just focused on Iris and we just let Keith skate by, y'all. We did. We let Keith skate by. And a lot of people was like, oh, y'all just saying that because Keith is cute. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. When I first saw Keith, I was like, oh yeah, Keith's cute or whatever. But the more I look at Keith, the more I'm just like, he alright. I mean, he has a height, and I'm not calling Keith ugly by any means. And maybe because I'm looking at him as somebody's husband, because whenever I view a man as somebody's husband, the attraction is immediately leaves. I don't play those games with married men. But even when I like, just the more I look at Keith, the more I'm just like, he's all right. He ain't all that. I know if I was Iris, I would have a lot to say just because I'm slightly an open person, and she's clearly not, and that's gonna cause a lot more problems. Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's hard to come up with, if you're like, because I'm not really that much of an open person myself, but it just requires you to dig deep. And I think Iris has a problem with that sometimes, but then again, nobody's like really asking Keith to dig deep either. So we've been putting all this pressure on Iris, and we ain't putting nan foot to Keith neck yet. Wait till my next review. I can't wait to watch tonight's episode. I'm watching it right after this. The edit. How do we know he didn't share something? That's true. That's true. Tonight's episode really shows Keith and Iris had a deeper connection. I can't wait to watch it, y'all. That just made me want to watch it even more. I feel like the last week's episode was kind of, I don't know. It was cute because, when I think it's always cute when all the couples get together. I like to see how they interact together. But it was just like more of the same. They just all have like the same issues they've been working on all season, basically. So it's like kind of boring in that way because I already know what y'all about to say a lot of times. The main thing that really grinded my gears is what Matt was saying, because he was acting like he was some sort of victim. And yeah, I had to point out what Keith said, basically in agreement with Matt. I'm like, you agreeing with Matt, you do know we ain't with Matt this season. I hope you know that. Let's see. Keith looks like his mother, handsome, but not like Idris. Keith, like I said, Keith is not ugly, and I think Keith and Iris are very, like, both of them are attractive, and they're just an attractive couple in general. But Keith is, the more, it's like the harder I look at Keith, the more I see, whatever imperfections he may have, and the less I'm like, oh, he's, so good looking. Keith is still frustrating though. He is. Yeah. Keith look, I said that last review too. Keith does look exactly like his mama. He got his mama whole face. I haven't watched it yet, so no spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers, guys, because I haven't watched it either. I haven't watched tonight's episode. What I was going to do, I was gonna do like a live watch along, because I'm never home on Wednesday nights because I usually go to Bible study. But tonight I was home with my grandmother, so I was gonna like do a live watch along, but it just didn't work out that way. Tonight will change your mind about Iris and Keith. He is in L, in I. What is that? I wish Keith had a scene talking to his father. Yes, agreed about Keith. Okay, yeah. I would love to see a scene with Keith being vulnerable, period. Because we haven't seen Keith open up about much of anything. We just haven't seen Keith really open up about, I'm trying to think about it. I can't remember one thing that Keith has actually said that has given you like insight to who he is, like as a man, or like what he's been through, or anything. And we've been really digging into Iris's psyche, but we haven't really tapped into much about Keith. And that just says a lot about, where the edits have been this season and where the focus has been this season. And honestly, when it comes to them, like I think I dropped the ball. I wasn't being objective. I was looking at Iris, and I was just, saying everything about Iris, and I wasn't looking at Keith. And he hasn't opened up. And I feel like to a certain degree he is tiptoeing around Iris. I feel like he's nervous about the virgin thing, and she is kind of, very protective about that. So only his closeness with his grandmother. Yeah, okay, yeah. He was vulnerable about that, about his grandmother. Hey, Brianna. Right. We don't know much about Keith at all. Past relationships, his view on marriage. Wonder why they edited like that. I know. But we know that his parents have been married for years, and he admires their marriage and admires the fact that they're friends, and I do think he wants to emulate that. But I think Keith also has a romanticized, which I feel this is what I've learned just from living in the past few years. We tend to have a romanticized version of relationships when it comes to older people that have been married for years, and especially like our parents, not my parents, my parents were, but when I look at people in my church, that have been married for 20, 30 years, I feel like because I haven't seen a marriage up close and personal, I don't get to see the day to day. I've never seen, arguments, fights, that they went through. I just see the happiness that they have when when I see them together. You have this romanticized version of what you think marriage is, and it's actually hard work, and it took them years to get to the point where they can know each other like that, and they've had those major blowout fights and things they had to work through. And you know Keith, I feel like Keith might have like a romanticized version of what he thinks a marriage is, when really he has to do this work with Iris to get to that point. That's what I feel. What happened in this interview? Keith acting like Matt. That's what I said. That's what I said. Cause after she stepped out of her comfort zone to do something, to step out the box, you gonna leave? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Or you gonna go, y'all gonna get in the bed and y'all ain't gonna talk at all? Nah, bruh. You gotta do more than that. Beth and Pastor Cal shed some light on Keith in last week's Unfiltered. I might go back and watch that. Where can I find Unfiltered? Is that on YouTube? I don't know where to even look. He is grieving. I've watched since the beginning. This show now kind of sucked. I swear I was the only person. I swear I was the only person I know who has been saying we don't know anything about Keith, and that sucks. You know what? If you left some comments about that, I read your comment from my last video, and a lot of people said that, and it opened my eyes. And then even on the last episode of this show, Keith said some things that really set my alarm off even more so. And then with this interview, it sealed the deal that, pray for your grandma. God is able. Thank you so much, Lauren. Right. Greg is doing the work and Keith wasn't trying as much. Exactly. I think, Keith could benefit from some therapy. Because Greg, I feel like the only reason why Greg is where he is now is because of therapy. He said he went through therapy after his last breakup. And he worked on himself. And I feel like all of us, can do work on ourselves to enhance how we are when we interact with other people in general, especially in a relationship. Yes, Unfiltered is on YouTube. Okay, I'm going to check that out. Yes, you can watch them. Okay. I'm going to check that out, y'all. I'm going to watch Unfiltered. I'll probably watch that. I'm going to do all my catching up tonight, and I'm going to try to record and edit tomorrow. I believe they couldn't show two brothers who are completely open to loving a woman. That's interesting. Hmm. 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 I drank the Kool-Aid. Thanks for sharing. I have a new perspective. Yeah, girl. Because people, I was strong in my beliefs, but then that's why I'm happy I make these videos, because I love the fact that people leave their comments and they can disagree with me respectfully. I love the fact that not one of y'all has been disrespectful with disagreeing with me. Not one person has gotten in my comments and called me out my name, or everybody's been respectful with disagreeing with me. And I'll go through and I'll read y'all comments. I can't respond to all of them, but I do read all the comments. And whenever y'all disagree with me, I always try to read with the open mind. And I saw people saying this about Keith, and it really opened my mind to it. Honestly, I wasn't viewing it that way until y'all started leaving those comments. I'm like, you're right. Okay, I'm gonna search for the Married at First Sight Unfiltered. I agree marriage is a two-way street, definitely. I always wonder if the people that come to this show really want to be married or want to be on TV. Well, we know for sure Matt didn't want to be married. We know for sure Matt didn't want to be married. The thing about this show, though, I think not only do you have to want to be willing to be married, you have to want to be willing to be vulnerable on TV in front of thousands of people. You have to want to like really put it out there, because if you're going to hold back, you're going to get a backlash from your partner, from us watching. You're going to get a backlash. And I feel like a lot of Iris's backlash was unwarranted, but after finding out what happened. But you know if y'all read the interview, then y'all know that they made a pact not to say certain things or not to do certain things. And I'm like, well, y'all shouldn't have came on the show if y'all couldn't show certain things, and y'all working with kids. Y'all just shouldn't be on the show, because guess what? Amber showed everything, and she's a teacher. She teaches middle school students, and you know if you come on the show, you got to be vulnerable. And even though, and that's what I can respect that about Amber, she didn't hold nothing back. She sat up there and cried and cried and cried, even though we look at her as being weak or whatever. um she didn't mind putting herself out there. Let me read these comments. Let me see what y'all saying. Yes, none of the black men they pick are alpha males. Y'all making me think. Y'all really making me think, because that is like a running trend. I agree with what you said, because I feel we pretty much have the same opinion. So let alone about that show. I like your reviews because you are respectful and honest. Thank you. We have seen the couple. Dang, what did I do? I lost the comment. Oh, we have seen honesty about men who creep out and who call their wife a see you next Tuesday. I ain't never heard that. I ain't never heard to it is referred to that. Okay. See you next Tuesday. And hallelujah, the men. Yeah. What interview are you speaking of? Okay, the interview is on Madame Noir, and it's Iris giving an interview about, giving some insight on her marriage with Keith. And basically she was just saying how he didn't really romance her. He didn't really, he wasn't really vulnerable with her. And yeah, just give him more insight about it. But once I post this video, I will leave the link so y'all can read it yourself, or you can Google it. Even if they divorced in the end, I'm happy they didn't act like the stereotype. Yeah, I feel like the black couples on this show were a good representation for our community. I do. I feel like they were professional, they were intelligent. They didn't get on here and you know act like the stereotypical angry black woman, even though I feel like that stereotype is very unfairly placed on black women, because I know plenty of black women who do not act like that and never will. But yeah, they didn't embarrass us. They sure didn't embarrass us, Lexi. I'm actually very proud of how the black couples acted. Like their drama was, they presented themselves very well. They didn't embarrass us at all. Sure did. You can read all 3 interviews she did with. Okay, girl, let me screenshot that. I didn't know she did no other interviews. That interview I came across was by accident. I wasn't even looking for interviews. My bad. Did I mess it up? I had to screenshot that. Greg reminded me of Will from last season in some ways, kind of, but he was much more vulnerable, much more willing to step out of the box, step out of his comfort zone, much more willing to uh cater to his wife than Will was. I feel like Will did not try to cater to that woman at all. He didn't. And she did everything she could for the most part, you know. I'm glad to hear that. I've been Googling, trying to figure out who's still together. And see, I don't want to ruin it. I really do want to be surprised. Don't tell me if y'all find out. Don't tell me who's still together. I don't want to know. Look at Greg's LinkedIn. That brother makes over $450,000 a year. If I was Deanna, I would have all. Let me tell you something. When I saw that house, okay, okay, with a porch and a deck, okay. Will was a little weird. Greg is more likable. Yeah, Will was one of those contestants. I can see why you ain't got nobody. And I hate to be like this because I'm single, but it's like Will was not willing to do anything outside of his comfort zone besides marry a stranger. But outside of that, he wasn't willing, you know? And you know, Jasmine had her faults. She did, but I feel like at least she was trying. Will was not trying. I think he wasn't ready. I think he needed to do more work on himself before. I feel like 75% of the people that come on this show need to do more work on themselves before they sign up to get married. Period. I heard someone describe Will as a computer with a a computer with a heartbeat. You know what? You know what? I can't say that's not accurate. Will only like white girls. Well, I can't confirm or deny that, so I don't know. But he seemed like he was attracted to Jasmine at first, but I don't know. I don't know. I just thought he wasn't feeling Jasmine. See, for me, what on that first, like when she first walked down the aisle, I felt like he physically was attracted to her. I thought he might have been putting on, he might have, just been doing it for TV. I don't know. But it just, maybe he was trying to make her feel better. I don't know. But it just seemed like he did. But as time went on, it would make sense that maybe he wasn't attracted to her because she was pretty much throwing herself at him at some point, and he was not trying to pick up what she was putting down. I thought he just wasn't feeling her. Yeah, I didn't know that. Better link to the interview. Oh, okay. I think what pushed him away was her wanting him to provide for her. Yeah, that could have been something that pushed him away because they did have that conversation very early. And honestly, I feel like the experts shouldn't have matched her with someone. Like they probably should have matched her with somebody like Greg who make a lot of money. They should have, hold on, let me charge my phone. But they should have matched her with someone with Greg who makes a decent amount of money. Y'all know she wants somebody that provides. So why would y'all match her up with someone who doesn't care to do that? Where does kind of always seems like he's off in a way, and I can't say that doesn't bother me because I'm like, are you even human? But I really like the part about yeah, basically. Jasmine needs a Greg, someone who wants that's what I said. She needed somebody like Greg. And I would have loved to see her actually have somebody like Greg because I feel like she could have been a good wife to somebody. She still can. I mean, it's not like life is over. She can, but she just seemed like she was a good woman, you know? She had her quirks, but I don't feel like she was like I feel like she was still a good woman. The experts don't care about these people for real. They don't. They want views. I'm so sick of Pastor Cal acting like these couples are compatible when they're obviously not. Um, yeah. Because I feel like if they were being really real, when they had these little midway, decision days, they should have, if they were being real, they would have broke Jamie and Beth up because no, and definitely Amber and Matt because Matt is not making any effort. He's sitting up here lying. He's sitting up here gaslighting. He's sitting up here acting like, acting like he cares on the camera, but really behind the scenes, you are not coming home. You're not showing affection to your wife. You don't want to be there. And it's clear. It's so clear. She was ready to cook him dinner and raise his kid. Exactly. I know. Like, I feel like Jasmine was one of those people that was ready. She really wanted to be married. And I feel like I said, she would have been a good wife and a good mother. But you know, the experts, I feel like it's on the experts, but some of these people be lying. Like Jamie and Beth both lied about kids. Like that's nothing to lie about. Like that, first of all, that says a lot about your character that you're gonna get up there and lie about something like that to possibly be matched up with somebody who wants kids. But thank God they got matched up together. But then again, y'all still turned out not to be no good match, because I don't know, you can't have like no devious, you can't be doing little devious stuff like that. That's not right. And that's what messes up the process for a lot of people, because certain people get up here and lie, and you'll get matched up with someone who is your false persona instead of your actual personality, and then messes the whole thing up, and you know, just jacks it up for everybody. Who knows what else Matt and Jamie and Amber, I'm mixing up all the couples. Who knows what else Jamie and Beth lied about? Matt just puts on it for the cameras, exactly. Because as soon as them cameras leave, he be gone. And for all we know, Matt could have a whole other wife and kid somewhere. Amber is not going to be after this. Not going to be the same. Oh, yeah, she's not. Oh, I feel so bad for her because she's very fragile. And I don't even think she should have signed up for this show. She was too fragile. The experts don't get to pick anymore like they used to. They changed to Lifetime from FYI, and now we don't even see the experts anymore. Interesting. Because I did remember when they were back on that other channel, FYI, and it just seemed a little bit more realistic back then. I think Matt, because it was just more documentary style back then. Y'all, for those who watched since the beginning, do y'all agree that it was a little bit more documentary style, and I just feel like I was getting more of a sense of like really what was going on day to day. Um, I think Matt didn't invite his family to the wedding because he planned to divorce at the end of the experiment. He was acting the whole time. Hmm. Yep, he's scamming. Mm-hmm. Watch and mark what I say. Amber will be fine. She will end up with her friend Raven, and they will have their own show soon. Yeah, I think she should end up with her friend because he seems to really care about her feelings. And, you know, this was just so difficult for her to go through. Hey, Celeste. This the first season you watched? It's good, girl. It's good. Feels kind of documentary to me. It was much more, to me, it was much more documentary style in the beginning. Like it just felt like you were there. Now it feels more produced, if that makes sense. Um yes, yeah, he loves Amber. He really do. I agree about that. Yeah, I'm feeling more realer. I like the documentary style more too. Lifetime is trying to turn, exactly, that's it. They're trying to turn this into a reality show when honestly this should be a documentary, because if these people are actually getting married, this is not Love and Hip Hop. And you know, Jamie and Beth are Love and Hip Hop, shaking the table. But the Australian version is worse. Really, I've never seen the Australian version. This is my second season. I'm hooked, girl. I've been watching since season 2, but I went back and watched season 1. So I feel like I've been watching since the beginning. Yes, I don't understand why the experts aren't involved like they used to be. Yeah, girl, she was shaking the table and hollering and screaming, calling people out their name. I mean, it, I could believe Beth did this to be on TV. I could believe it. They need all the help they can get considering they just met. Right. Exactly. That's true. K Michelle, she's shaking the table. Don't shake unless you want to get shook. She shook the table. OMG, you're so adorable. Thank you. Thank you. Don't make me blush, girl. In the future, I think the questionnaire should ask questions about virginity and whether people are opposed to be with the virgin. Agreed. Agreed. Because I feel like that is just like he said, I know he never thought he would have to deal with that as like one of their issues, and it turned out to be their main issue. But at the same time, I still feel like Keith could have put in more effort. What's interesting is that Raven was trying to be on the show too. He was on the episode where they interview candidates and go to people's houses. Interesting. I Y'all need to be together, Amber. Like, do they not find each other attractive? Is it like a brother and sister thing? Like, why don't y'all be together? How much the producers frame the story. I know. And that's what makes it a reality show, because the fact that they left all this information out and kind of framed Iris as the quote unquote bad guy, and put all of their issues on her and had us, kind of skewed way of thinking the way they edited it. That's not documentary. I want to see what's actually going on. And I want to hear from both sides. I want to see both perspectives. I'm one of those people that I like to hear both sides. Cause like when I hear from one side, it's like, okay, yeah, the person did that to you, but what did you say to them? Or you know what I'm saying? I need to know the full story. The current questionnaire asks that it always has. Okay, I didn't know. What's up, welfare gang? I feel like this is the first season they tried to push people to. You know what? I think so too. Like they really was pushing it this season. It was kind of uncomfortable at certain points because I just remember there was this one scene that made me really uncomfortable, and it was supposedly after Jamie and Elizabeth were intimate, and the camera was like right close up on them in bed, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here right now. Like that is so weird. I didn't notice that Nicole. Why isn't Amber with him? Yeah, that's a good question. I would like to know. Amber may have friend zone. Might have. Because we always friend zone the people that we need to be with. We always do that, y'all. We always do it. Well, I'm just going to speak for myself. They can't match people who know each other. Okay. I guess not, because it's married at first sight. So, duh, I guess they really can't. I'm just saying she need to be with him. She need to match herself with him. That they didn't have to match them. Yeah, he's probably been friend zoned. They really have to be strangers. They look alike. Who looks alike? The current questionnaire asks people if they are opposed to being with the virgin. Is that what she's saying? How many seasons is it, and where can I find the previous one? I think it's 8 seasons. I should know this. I review the show and I put every in the title every time what season it is. I believe it's 8. And the previous ones, I don't know. Are they on Hulu? I think they may be on Hulu. I don't consider it a bad edit for Iris when she openly admitted to intentionally portraying herself as a specific. Okay, okay, I see what you're saying there, and I agree because, but I think the way I think it's a bad edit though is that they didn't show that Keith is not being as open. I feel like, I know they possibly could have a confessional with Iris saying that Keith is not open. They did actually in that last episode. Iris kind of alluded to it, but I know they gotta have some scenes or something somewhere where Iris wants to talk to Keith and he's not opening up because he just does that. He shuts down. So why was Keith so shocked? Hulu and the Lifetime app. Okay. Cause I be watching it, I be recording it on my TV, so I don't really know where to watch the old ones. I do want to go back and watch some of the older seasons. Actually no, I just want to know where they are now, to be honest. I don't care to go back and go through all that. Unless I'm watching the reunion with Luke and Kate. That was a good reunion. That was a good reunion. I still have that on my DVR. Um, so is there anything else that you guys would like to talk about? If you're in here, please leave me a like. Thanks. Um, I'm gonna do a full review on tonight's episode once I watch it. And I'm gonna include things from last episode since I didn't do a review last week. I have a copy of the season of the 6 of the seasons contract. It's a question about virginity and how you feel about marrying one on each one. Interesting. And I can bet it was Iris who raised concerns about the fact that they both worked with kids. If it was truly a concern, that don't sign up for a TV show. That's how I feel about it. I feel like neither one of them should have signed up for this show. If y'all really did not want to like set a bad example for kids, or you didn't want your family to see you portrayed in a certain light, I feel like y'all shouldn't have signed up. Period. I feel like Iris is one of those people that is not going to put her business out there, so you don't need to be on TV. Me personally, I would never, y'all would never see me on Married at First Sight, because guess what? I don't want my grandma watching me talk to my husband about intimate things like that. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Mm-mm. So I'm not willing to do that. So I'm not going to be willing to sign up for a reality show. And plus, another reason why I wouldn't sign up is because I'm kind of finicky about who I'm attracted to. Like, I'm not saying you have to be Idris Elba, Michael Ealy, Kofi Siriboe, who was like so fine to me. You ain't gotta be that, but cause I've been attracted to some ugly people, but it's just you have to be my kind of ugly. And if you're not my kind of ugly, then I don't know what to tell you. So Keith should not have acted like it. Yeah, he shouldn't have. If that was anything, that's true. He shouldn't have been acting like that. I've never saw the fishbowl question asked about what position. Yeah, that was a cringy scene. I never want to see that scene again ever in my life. I hate when they replay that scene with that fishbowl and they start talking about anything with Iris being uncomfortable about talking about intimacy. I don't want to see it. That's the cringiest thing. I fast forward now. I can't take it. Yes, same. My mother would. Okay, I cannot get on TV and talk about that. No way. Yes, that should have been a private exercise. I agree. I'm over Iris. If you saying you're over Iris, I want y'all to read this interview and then tell me if you're still over Iris, because was an eye-opening interview. It's on Madame Noir. If you want to Google it, just Google Madame Noir and Iris from Married at First Sight. I will be leaving the link down below once I post this video. Keith's issue was more of her not taking the situation seriously. I agree. But the thing about it is he needs to confront her in that situation. Like, when she's in a situation and she's not taking it seriously and she's, playing like a childish game with it, like, laughing stuff off, instead of like sitting there and like checking out of the situation, I think he should press her about it. I think he should just be like, why, whenever we try to do these exercises, why can't you take it seriously? I'm sitting here taking it seriously and I want us to move forward. Like, just have an honest conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? That's something Keith could have been doing, and I feel like we've been giving him a pass on that. I do. Let's see. Iris and Keith exercises from experts were more explicit than any other couple. That's true. That is true. They have been way more explicit than any of the other couples. I couldn't hardly get that out. That's all the producers creating drama to make Iris seem more immature. Agreed. Agreed. But like I said, don't come on TV if you ain't gonna participate. Her frowning up and cringing, acting like she hasn't done anything, didn't correlate with her previous experiences. I agree with that, but then again, it's on TV, so she's gonna be less comfortable with, you know, she know her mama probably gonna be watching, so it's gonna be a little uncomfortable. Do you believe the article? I do. I don't. Iris didn't say anything unbelievable, and she did not bash Keith. She didn't say anything about him that was salacious. She's just told her truth. She was just being honest about what the situation was. I don't think she said anything wrong. Um, then study a little about media manipulation. That's what we are seeing, and Iris is not giving in to the producer's backstage foolishness. I, I can see that. Iris is a smart woman. I don't. I think she knew that she didn't want to be portrayed a certain way. That's why she didn't say certain things. That's why she didn't participate in certain things. I just think she shouldn't have been on TV in the first place. Yeah, agreed. Like, how old is this woman? Like, for me, I think I have a tendency to be a little bit too serious when it comes to things, but she needs to be more serious. Like I said, Keith should have confronted her about it. It seemed like Keith was too afraid to confront Iris, but I agree he should have spoken up more, definitely. I do think he was afraid of Iris. The whole virginity thing kind of gave her like a force field, and he was tiptoeing around it like there were mines to be stepped on and blown up if he stepped on it. He definitely acted that way. Some people were poorly matched. If Amber and Matt were in a bar, he wouldn't even let y'all. I hate that people go in on Amber's looks. I do, because I don't think Amber is bad looking. And yeah, she might be considered plain Jane, but a lot of people don't like, dress up and dress like Amber on a daily basis. And I don't know, I just hate when people do that with Amber, because one, she don't deserve it. She ain't did nothing to be like this heavily critiqued on her looks. And I'm not trying to go in on whoever said that, but I don't think it's fair to discuss her looks and say that, what he was attracted to, because I honestly think Matt just did this for TV. I think whoever they would have chose, he wouldn't have given his all to it. You know what I'm saying? And Amber was a little needy, but I just hate when people bring her looks into it, because I don't think that had a huge part to do with it. He came in this being dishonest. Let me see, where was I? But to what you're saying, I do think he probably is used to exotic women, but you shouldn't treat nobody like that just because you're used to a more exotic woman. And he shouldn't have agreed to marry her. Like, is it in the contract that y'all have to go through with the wedding? Like, if you walk down the aisle and you see somebody that you're not attracted to, you can't immediately turn back around, or you can't immediately shut everything down. Like, don't get married to the person if you're that. Like, I feel like Luke knew when he first saw Kate that he wasn't attracted to her, and to just drag her throughout that whole season was just torture. Like, if you don't want to be with somebody, leave them. And don't do everything you can to make them break up with you. That is so weak. Amen. I'm so proud of them. Always well-groomed, poised, and classy. Exactly, girl. Now, that's one thing I can say about them. They be on point. They hair be looking good. They be doing their best to look nice and clean on camera. I like it. She's not bad looking. The experts messed up with Matt and Amber. They just did. And I feel like Matt probably lied. I think Matt probably lied to get on the show too. I really don't think that Amber looks. I think she's, You know what I'm saying? Like, she's not a bad looking girl at all. Like, I hate when people go in on her looks. She does not dress like a tomboy. She doesn't. She just dresses like your average girl in America. She really do. You know? Amber was just matched with the wrong person. Exactly. And sometimes doing less is more beautiful. Exactly. Some people are just, they're not the type to put on a bunch of makeup. They're not the type to go all out with their outfits. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's style is not, you know, some people go in the store and buy what's on the mannequin. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's what Amber does, but you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not stylish or chooses to dress to the nines all the time, you know? Matt was playing in Mexico. Amber is fine. Matt was on the show to be a singer, point blank period. And you know what? Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that song is on iTunes. Has anybody checked? I could believe he got on here to be a singer. And like, why are we getting on looks? Matt ain't nobody's what's that? Who is Thor? What's Thor's name? Real name. He ain't nobody's Thor. He ain't nobody's child. I'm trying to think of some, he ain't nobody's, you know, model. He alright. Matt is a phony. Exactly. Leave her alone. Please, leave her alone. Don't make me get on here and cry. Leave Amber alone. We ain't gonna get on her looks now. He used to groupies. Right. Matt was playing ball in Mexico. Oh, okay. Matt, come on now. Uh, we have Mexican women living right here in America. That's not that exotic. I wonder if Luke and Matt doesn't date white women. You know, they said that last season, and they found these pictures of Luke with a black woman, and he had dated. Um I still don't think that gives you an excuse to treat somebody that way. Like, I don't care if you're attracted to a certain type of woman. Like I said, either get out of the relationship. If you know you're not attracted to that person, you're not going to be attracted to that person, and you're that shallow, don't stick around. And two, you don't treat nobody like that. Don't do nobody like that if you're not attracted to them. That's just, men are so wrong. Like, I know women have done this on this show, but men are just so much more likely to do that, to treat somebody like dirt because they're unattractive, as if they be the most attractive man alive. Get out of here. It's not like Matt is a looker him. Exactly. He can keep that song. Exactly, because he can't even sing. He can't even sing, girl. That song was not cute. I know. Thor? Now, if I mess around and see Thor at that altar, I know this is a wedding, but we might have to go on ahead and elope. Thor is fine. Singer, not that tone deaf. Tone deaf, exactly. That song was terrible. It sure was. Oh no, that song sucked. No, Matt is not attractive to me. Chris Hemsworth, that show is his name. Yes. And Matt is just not on Chris Hemsworth level. He just ain't. Look him up on YouTube. He has a whole music video. I know he. I'm about to look this up. No, he don't. Matt has a music video. What's his last name? What's his last name? I'm sure finna look it up. I like tall, but he's too tall. Yeah, he a little bit too tall. I like tall too, but what is he, 6'9"? That's a little bit too tall. Cause he looks awkward when he walks. It's like he kind of walks like a stick figure. There's no excuse for emotional abuse. Totally agree. It doesn't, because I did it today. She is still a person, and she just exactly. Everybody said Luke was gay. I'm not gonna say Luke is gay because we have no proof that Luke is gay. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say he's gay, and I don't know. Ghosting people, ignoring them when you chose to be on this show, it says a lot about a person's character. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel about that. And I think ghosting is very immature. It's disrespectful. It's I can't lie. When I was in like an undergrad in college, I used to ghost left and right. I was a ghoster. I would cut people off real quick if I just got bored, if I, you know, for nothing at all. If they just said something I didn't like, I will cut them off and just never talk to them ever again. I was a big ghoster. And then I got in a relationship with someone who I really, really cared about. And instead of breaking up with me, he ghosted me. Like, he completely ghosted me. He stopped talking to me. He didn't answer my phone calls. He didn't answer my texts. And, you know, he kind of forced me to, like, send a text and break it off. But, you know, he ghosted me. So it's like it was over. And it really, like, really hurt me. I feel like I got it all back. Like, every single time I ghosted somebody, I feel like I got it, like, 1,000 times harder. You know what I'm saying? So from that point on, I decided I would never ghost anybody ever again because it's not necessary. You should always tell somebody why you're breaking it off, why, you know, it's not working, and just be honest. Now, if they continue to like break boundaries and you tell them like, look, if you do this again, I'm done. That's different. Setting boundaries is different, but like completely ghosting somebody and not telling, not, you know, like breaking it off in a mature way, that's like disrespectful on another level. It doesn't because I did it today. She deserved it, yes. Um, somebody, y'all still need to tell me where this music video is. I want to see this music video. Seriously, because if Matt got a music video, are you crazy? Are you crazy? Keith is going, excuse me, I burped. Keith is going to be sorry when Iris gets offered a contract in CoverGirl or Iman Cosmetics. Her skin is always flawless. Black is beautiful. Deanna as well. Yes, let me tell y'all something about Iris. She is a pretty woman. She is. And I feel like she could have been a model. I don't know if she still like would want to do that. She definitely could have been a model. She's gorgeous. I do feel like she's a good woman. I feel like, you know, she could have tried a little bit harder, but so could Keith. Search Matt. Oh, girl. I'm about to look it up right now. Are you kidding me, Matt? Are you kidding me? You're sitting up here. See, he's trying to, see, this proves it right here. He's trying to get on. And he's trying to use Married at First Sight to get on. Mm, mm. See, the longer he on the show, the more he's exposed. Why is my internet working so slow? I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. Matt Gwen music. No way. Is this really him? Hold on. Hold on. But it would be so terrible. Like, you couldn't stop laughing. Y'all, is this him? I gotta make sure this is him first. This cannot be Matt. Ah! Hold on. Let me turn this. Ain't no way. Y'all ignore my keyboard. This is Matt, y'all, singing. What? With these struggle vocals. Hold on. Uh. Uh. Okay, 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 okay. Matt think he can sing. Matt think he can sing. Matt really think he can sing. I'm sorry. Yeah. That cracked me. I'm tickled. I'm so tickled. I'm sorry. Okay. Oh. Matt really think he can sing. Y'all, I was literally kidding. I was literally kidding in one of my reviews when I said I wouldn't be surprised that song is on iTunes. Matt really do think he can sing. I didn't think Matt, y'all, I'm crying. I didn't think Matt really thought he could sing, like, to the point where he made a music video. He's delusional. Oh my goodness. His friends ain't loyal either, because you know they encouraging it. Let me stop, y'all. Let me stop. Let me read your comments. Matt really thought he could sing. Like, I like, y'all, I was making fun of it, but I genuinely thought Matt was just like, I don't know, I thought he was just doing it for the show. Matt really do think he can sing. What? Oh, I was about to say that guy does not look like him. At first, me too. That's why I had to click on it, because on the thumbnail, he must have lost weight or something, because he don't look the same. But, oh my goodness. I wonder who filmed that. Me too, girl. I'm like... Oh, yeah, it was 7 years ago, but he's trying to get this music career off the ground. He think he can act too, because he thought he was fooling us. Exactly. Matt thought he was fooling somebody coming on this show. The only person he fooled was Amber. My thing is, nah, Matt, you ain't fooling nobody, because you can't act, you can't sing. You might as well give that up. He has not improved. Matt has not improved. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe Matt really got on this show to sing. It makes so much sense now. This music video has proven so much. Matt, let's hear a little bit more.
I used to play my guitar. She bang on a tambourine. She'd sing along with whatever song I sung. Perfect harmony.
No, yeah, I can't. I'm done with Keith. I'm done with Matt. I'm done with Matt. I'm done with Matt. I'm done with Matt. He's barely like singing a melody. No, that ain't it. That ain't even it, Matt. And I hope you know now. I hope you know now. Your singing career is not taking off, boo. I'm sorry. Trying to build his brand. Exactly. It's the same corny mess he set up for Amber. Exactly. That's probably the same song. Shoot, it's probably the same melody. He probably did different words. He cannot sing, y'all. Oh, that song. That was terrible. That was terrible. Cause I went back and I looked at Luke's page on Instagram. And I believe he had like around like 35,000 followers. But his pictures only get like 200, 300 likes, which is like not a good ratio for a page with that number of followers. So it's like, yeah, you got the followers, but you don't have engagement, which is what companies really look for when they want to work with you. So at the end of the day, was it worth it? Did you actually get any real, like, solid supporters? I doubt it. I doubt it. Because I doubt Luke got any like real positive outcome from doing this show. And obviously he just did it for whatever fame or, publicity. He wasn't working on a business or anything. He just wanted TV exposure. Exactly. Matt looks like Chris Brown to me. Maybe he think he sings like him. You know what? Matt do kind of look like a white Chris Brown. Um, because honestly, Chris Brown's looks kind of going like that. So yeah, I can see that, but he does not have the singing ability. No, ma'am. You're right about that. Y'all are crazy. My daughter said he reminded her of Chris Brown too. Yeah, I mean, both of them are tall. Both of them have like these sharp, noses and mouths. They have kind of bone, like high bones, high cheekbones. That bone structure is very similar. So I could see where he could look like him. But Chris Brown do look a little bit better. I will give Chris Brown more credit, but his looks are doing this. I want to go on America's Next Top Down. Look, he would get all X's. I'm sorry, he cannot sing. He just can't. He could barely play the guitar. He playing so slow. No, don't do my baby like that. Girl, don't get me started. I'm not even gonna start on Chris Brown. Please do not get me started. What goes around comes back around. Exactly. Why doesn't he go on that? Chris has talent, but he can sing. Yeah, Chris can sing. He can. I'll give him that. What? Yeah, let me block you because I feel like that you were trying to. Yeah. Okay. Um. After they changed over to Lifetime, all the couples' contracts stated they can't be on social media while airing, so the couples don't get those blue check marks anymore. So no fame for you, Matt. Yes, this is live. Um, I did not know. Okay, no wonder I never find anybody on Instagram. I couldn't find nobody on Instagram. So they're not allowed. They're not allowed to be on social media while the show is on. Wow. You know what? That's a good thing because that's going to keep a lot of people from trying to like be on here for fame. Good for you. And so if you are on here, you're not going to get the followers you thought you was going to get. Honestly, though, I couldn't like any cast member more than I dislike Luke, but I think Matt is tied. Yeah, when I compare, they're really a lot alike in many ways. The only reason why I feel like Luke is worse is because he said that whole thing about you making me feel dead inside. I'll never forget him saying that. Cause can you imagine a man saying that to you? And then you don't even know me that well to say, how do I make you feel dead inside? You don't even know me like that, bruh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I would have left him that night. Like I wouldn't have told nobody. I would have been gone that night. I'm sorry. The old cast are all my social media friends because they could comment during the airing, but after Atlanta, they shut that down. I did not even know that. By far, Luke was absent. Yeah, Luke was a monster. The things that he did to Kate was sinister. Like the fact that they were sleeping together and he made her keep it a secret, and then would like leave her afterwards. Like, he did some sinister things to that girl. Luke was cringe. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. He was. I don't like Will. I don't like Will. I dislike Keith. Just me. I don't dislike Keith. I just think Keith has been getting the long end of the stick in this situation. And you know, he deserves to get some criticism as well, just as much as Iris does. Um which, if you're just joining, you know, Iris did an interview telling her side of the story, and she basically pretty much got it bad at it. And I will leave the link down below once I post this video. But um I think I think Keith wasn't being pushed. You know, Iris was being pushed out of her comfort zone, but I think because of her virginity being the focus, he didn't really get pushed out of his comfort zone. Um, just basically that, you know, Keith wasn't putting in a whole lot of effort. He didn't really make an effort to be romantic or to really open up, be vulnerable, dig deep, and, like, you know, basically return the favor of what she was, you know, being forced to give. You know, he wasn't really returning the favor. And when she did reach out and try to do certain things, he would leave on some Matt type stuff, or he would, like, basically shut her out, which she kind of alluded to in the last episode with the couples. You know, I haven't watched the episode from tonight, but I heard some things happen. Please do not spoil it because I haven't seen it yet. Um, Keith and Iris's dilemma just makes me so sad. I know. It's one of those things. It's like, how do you? It's not a common issue to have. So, you know, how do you fix it? Right? Ain't no man going to say I disgust him and make him feel dead inside. Exactly. I would have been gone, or he would have been up out of that hotel room. One of us would have been gone. Cause I'm not playing that. You ain't talking to me like that. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Just like ain't nobody finna be gone all night and think he finna just waltz back in the house. Are you crazy? Mm-mm. You lost your mind. Mm-mm. I'm not accepting none of that. I promise you that. Like, Iris is so childish, though. That probably turned Keith all the way off. I understand that, y'all. I get that. Because I was on that same level. I was on that same level, and it is so true. But if you're gonna be in this experience and you're gonna say you're gonna try until the decision day, and you're gonna give your all. You're gonna have to, like, bear with her while she works through her childishness. It is what it is. She's childish, so help her get through that. Call her out when she's being childish. How else are y'all gonna work past it? I feel like Iris could work past that. You know what I'm saying? She could grow up, but you know, he can put in some effort to it and actually, you know, tell her when she's doing it, and call her out on it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Um, I feel like for all of us, I have not watched it. We're gonna like it. Yes. Or you both decided to stay for the money. At least he walked back in the house after being out. Or you still rather him not come home till sunrise. What? At least he walked back in the house after being out. Or you rather him not. I want him to come home. If you're married, you need to be in the house. You need to be in the house. You need to be in the house. You're not a bachelor anymore. You need to be in the house. Period. You don't see Greg going out and being out all times of the night. Because guess what? Deanna ain't having that. You think Greg finna be out all times of the night? And honestly, Greg don't want to be out all times of the night. But is it fair for Keith? But it's fair to Keith for men that used to having a job? I mean, yeah, that's something difficult. But if that was in the questionnaire that she was okay with it, somebody said it was in the questionnaire that it was okay, that he was okay with it. It's one of the questions. I don't know. This is just a hard situation. So fair to keep he's a virgin during the time she's a virgin. I don't think he signed up for that one. I can't say one way or the other with that. I really can't. But if it was in question there whether he would be okay with that or not, and he said yes, then this is what you signed up for. Like, I feel you, but I really don't blame him because he wasn't really trying to be vulnerable. I could tell after. Yeah, yeah, but I feel like I keep repeating myself over and over. But yeah, the quarter story was childish. He should have called her out about it. He should have said, stopped her right there. Like, Iris, I'm trying to be serious. I want you to be vulnerable. I want you to tell me something vulnerable. But then again, also in the article, she said that they made a pact that they weren't going to reveal anything too personal on TV. So if they made that pact, why are you sitting up here and acting like you didn't know we made that pact and you sitting up here checked out? You know what I'm saying? It's some contrivedness going on with them too. Cause that's a little bit. How y'all gonna make a pact not to do that? Y'all should never came on TV. Period. Um, in one of the articles, Iris explains the quarter story more, and it sounded more serious, but they cut it out of the show. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to read that. But he can invest in his wife. Yes, he can get past it and grow up out of it. Exactly. You can't fix problems in a. Cause honestly, if it's not one thing, it's another. With Iris, is her virginity. With somebody else, it's gonna be something else. You're gonna have to work through something, and I feel like he's gonna have to take himself out of his comfort zone, no matter what. And yeah, it's like he's gonna have to wait for her, but he also said he's willing to. So if you're willing to, you need to put in that work too. Um, if a grown man, that's true. He should be able to wait. He should. That quarter story girl, I think Iris thought she was sticking with her agreement to keep things PG, but she couldn't have shared. I said something earlier in the live like that. Like, you could have shared something that was more vulnerable. It didn't have to be anything that was gonna rock your world. It could have been something as simple as just something you ain't never told nobody before. Maybe he said that before they made the pact. I don't know. If a cupcake falls from a tree, girl. Commitment to each other and marriage is the reason most couples on the show stay together beyond decision day. Yep. All right, y'all. I've been on here for 97 minutes. I did not mean to be on here this long. This was just like a good. I might do another live next week. Cause this was actually really good. Um, I missed y'all last week. I love talking to y'all in the comments. I love that y'all, you tell me your opinions, whether you agree or not. But you're disrespectful, and we get not disrespectful, but you're respectful about it, and we can all like share our opinions and really talk about things. Cause y'all have changed my perspective about Keith, honestly. Cause you know, I was being manipulated by the editing. I wish Matt could be disqualified too, Jess. Mm-hmm. I'm not Team Matt. I'm not Team Matt. I'm not Team Men. Team Matt got a friend on the side. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Matt, I believe Matt got somebody on the side. He didn't come on here to really be married. Um, Greg irritated me with that "Do you love me?" question. That must have been tonight. Y'all don't tell me nothing about tonight. I'm about to get off here. I'm gonna watch the episode and I'm gonna review it and try to have it up tomorrow. But if not, it'll be the next day. Tamra, thank you. Oh my goodness. This is my first ever super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I did not expect that at all. But thank you. Thank you, Tamra. I just really appreciate that. Thank you. Um, but yeah, I'm about to go, y'all. Um, I'm gonna do another live next week. I think I've decided, but I'll let y'all know in the community tab. I'll let y'all know before and ask y'all like what time or whatever when y'all would like to do it. This one was very, kind of impromptu. It got cut off earlier. I want to come back and talk about it with you guys, see what y'all thought. This is 99 minutes, y'all. I can't believe I've been on here this long. I hope y'all have a good night. Thank you guys for talking to me about this show. And see, I love you guys. And I'll see you in my next one. Definitely. The finale next week, right? I'm definitely coming back for the finale. I might not be able to do it live, but possibly, you know, afterwards. But anyway.